Welcome to the Mundus Fractura Lore Guide. This week on Lore Guide, we will take a look at the Nocturna Hills and the nation known as the Ascetics, internally known as simply the Nation, the Natural Nation, and in times not too long ago, the Forsworn. The Ascetic peoples, an exclusively human population, are centralized around the lands of the Nocturna Hills. The Nation have actually occupied these hills since humanity's earliest days outside of the crater in the 11th era of Mankinid. In fact, the Nation claims that they are the source of humanity, that all humans outside of the Nation are dilute, somehow, less human. The Nation is a highly bigoted people, xenophobic, speciesist, and above all, they detest the use of magic and psionic powers. The vast bulk of the nation's population, near 1 million people, are a tightly controlled, some would argue slave class, of simple farmers. These serfs or tenant farmers are bound to a hereditary plot of land and to the will of their local Lord Confine. The Lord Confine controls every aspect of the lives of the serfs in their domain. Housing, sustenance, sleep schedules, breeding, and conscription are all under the direct guidance of the nation's 20 confines. These 20 lords report and are under the direct control of 3 prelate intendants, a type of overlord. They are Prelate Intendants Ren-A de Reg-Jin, 92 years of age. Prelate Intendants Georgi Wuber, 94 years of age. Prelate Intendants Nox-Ni Drashir, 81 years of age. These 3 then report directly to the nation's supreme ruler, Pontiff Yohanif, said to be blessed by God and by pure living with a long life and great holy, youthful vitality. The pontiff is a staggering 175 years of age. Some suspect he is even older than that. There are also whispers in the furthest and darkest back rooms of perfidy that the pontiff and many others in the highest ranks of government are in fact heretical practitioners of the powers they so detest. The seat of governance for the nation is perched high atop the hill of Mons Imperare in the Grand Alcazar, or fortress palace of the same name at the eastern edge of the nation's capital of Nocturna. The inner city, far in the valley below, sits entirely in a full magic dead zone. Here in the Mons Imperare, from atop his golden throne in the Chamber of Lords, the venerable pontiff controls all lands north of the Nocturna River with an adamantine fist. Further to the point of the nation's governance, though it is taught to the general public that self-sacrifice, piety, community, a loathe for the powers and love for the homeland above all else, are the foundation of a strong and prosperous nation. Secretly, cunning, deceit, and murderous ambition are the backbone of this near-mafia-like society. Though open larceny or homicide are illegal and carry extreme punishments, those who act with guile, misdirection, and cautious duplicity can go far in the nation. In fact, as the records of the Forsworn, deep within the most secured archives show, individuals of such character often ascend all the way to the Golden Throne as a distracting means of control. The nation is artificially politically divided into one of 2 compatible yet conflicting ideologies. The Crimsons, those who purport that magic is the largest threat to society, and the Burgundy, those who claim that there is no greater threat to the nation than psionics. Moderates do exist, but they always sort themselves into one of the 2 bins in times of public referendum. Never are there public admissions that neither magic nor psionics are threats. Such opinions are treason and punishable by Eidemerk, the nation's highest and most gruesome form of punishment. Given the nature of divinity on Mundus Fractura, the nation is, strangely, monotheistic. Any hint of worship outside of the state-recognized god named Magistrate is strictly forbidden on pain of death by public skinning. Publicly, this god is known as the Highest Father, or the Judge, and it is outlawed to speak the true name of the highest father. Mandatory worship takes place on the third and seventh days of the week, or 10-day. The magistrate has never been seen in public, and his miracles are said to manifest solely through the presiding pontiff. What little influence the god may have over the lands seems to become fully null south of the Nocturne River and north of the Breathless Peaks. The nation officially sees all other deities of Mundus as one entity, Magiciona, a foul but much lesser adversary-type character. Any variation of names or claims of goodness are just deception that this perceived demonic antagonist entity, Magiciona, uses to attempt to sway the faithful from the path of the highest father. Though the nation has countless small hamlets and thorps, it has only 3 locations that can be counted as cities. The first, Lesser Nocturna, or locally known as Salus, is noted for a small psionic dead zone on which a grand cathedral fortress has been constructed. The Burgundy political party headquarters is located in Salus, and they have held a majority vote in civic affairs since the city's inception. To the north, straddling the Nocturne River, sits the city of North Spear, though there are several colonies controlled by the nation further upriver. This sprawling city marks the northern border of the nation. North Spear acts as both a gateway to the southern reaches of the Nocturne River and as a departure point for the nation's slave caravans, which are set out to gather resources from the nation's northern mining, logging, and farming operations in the foot mountains of the river's east bank. The nation controls a standing slave class of purple worm gnomes for mining, earthworm gnomes for tilling, beaver gnomes for harvesting. All slaving operations for the nation are controlled from the city of North Spear. And finally, we come to the nation's capital, seat of the High Pontiff and the beating heart of the Ascetic peoples, the holy city of Nocturna. By far the oldest of the 3 centers, it is the wellspring from which the nation flows. All 3 of the Ascetic cities are modern marvels of technology and employ the latest in steam-assisted living. Factories, cable car systems, advanced sewage removal systems, indoor steam heat, hot running water, and glorious bathhouses are all widespread in the nation's 3 major centers. But it wasn't always this way. Pontiff Yohanif, seen as the father of the modern way, rose to power in the wake of a revolution he himself fueled. High technology was not always so. Before the time of Pontiff Yohanif, it was decreed that no device may have more than 2 moving parts. Once in power, the new pontiff radically transformed the nation, and with this industrial revolution, their production and populations exploded. Their once isolationist views then also swiftly turned expansionist, and they began a campaign of tyranny. Though the ascetic campaigns have had limited successes with expansion in the form of occupation and colonization of the lands directly south of the Nocturna River. Their campaigns against the dwarves of the Green Mountains, the Alliance, and the Nation of the Many Gods have all been unmitigated disasters. But the ascetic are a tenacious people, and the lure of expansion and the power it holds is a siren's song not easily ignored. The fires of the industrial machine still burn bright, and the leadership still looks to requite their newly minted foes. That is all for this time. I hope you have enjoyed this brief look at the ascetic. Stay tuned for future Lore Guide shorts, and thank you for listening. Goodbye for now.